What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your pal Steve Witchell, founder of Cover Band Central. We are live today, and we got a special treat for you. It's been a while since I didn't done one of these, but I'm happy to be here, and hope you guys can join in and check it out and comment if you like. If you're watching the replay, which is possible, you're going to get some good, valuable information here. We are pleased to have us. Gig Salad join us today. Gig Salad is a way to help you get gigs if you want to get real work. One of the biggest problems I hear out there from bands and musicians is finding gigs. And you could do all the phone calling and emailing that you want, but if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know who to talk to, you're wasting your time. But what you want to do is get with somebody like Gig Salad, who's one of the biggest in the industries in connecting bands, musicians, artists with people who are looking to hire. And this is real gigs. This isn't your corner pub. This is gigs that pay you real money. And you might be somebody that's looking for talent out there too. There's a lot of people out here in the Cover Band Central world that are looking for bands, artists, everything else to hire. So this is your one-stop shop here, and we're honored to have Megan Price from Gig Salad here. I'm gonna bring her in right now. Here she is, Megan.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, taking your time out here. Cover Band Central is a huge community. We're almost 1 million people strong, and a lot of musicians and bands, like I said in the intro there, could really use your help because they just don't know what they're doing. They might be great bands, great musicians, but just don't know how to get the right work, don't know who to talk to, don't know how to connect with the right people that are hiring. So that's what we're going to do today, right?
That's it. So, yeah, this presentation will go a little bit over what Gig Salad is, some of the tips and tools that we have that can help bands get booked. So, yeah, if you're ready, I'll just dive right in and get started for
All right,
everybody.
yeah, I'll hand this over to you. She's going to show a presentation. Anybody has questions along the way, please post them, and we will get to your questions at the end of the presentation. But I will add this here, and there you go. You're off.
All right, awesome. Okay, so I just want to do a quick introduction. My name is Megan Price, as Steve mentioned. I've been with Gig Salad 12 or 13 years about. I've handled our social media, I've handled our marketing, I've traveled for years to talk about Gig Salad with different audiences. My current title is Director of Customer Experience, so I manage our customer happiness team. I join webinars like these to kind of talk about Gig Salad. So I know all things Gig Salad. I've been here a long time. So I'm always happy to answer questions that our community has. So the first thing on me, I just kind of go over our agenda. So we'll talk about the benefits of a Gig Salad membership, how you can be successful, fine tuning your lead preferences so you get the types of leads that you want, some of the Gig Salad tools that are very helpful. And then I do have a few frequently asked questions on a slide, but if we have any questions from the audience, we have time for that too. So just starting out, I just wanted to sort of introduce the benefits of a Gig Salad membership. Um, One of the best things is getting connected with new clients. Word of mouth, of course, is always a great marketing tool, but this is a way that you can get connected with new clients for different events like birthdays, corporate events, weddings. You can handle everything in one place. Your leads come in, you can respond to your clients, you can send quotes, you collect payments, you collect reviews. Everything is kind of there. You can showcase your media. We give you little badges for different things. So it's kind of a nice way to showcase your band and connect with new people that would hopefully love to book you. Another good thing about Gig Salad where you're not having to do everything by yourself. So we send you the leads. You're not having to go out there and search for them. People come to us, we send them to you. Getting a review is sometimes quite the journey, so we take that on for our members as well. After the event is over, we'll remind your client up to 10 different times to leave you a review. So we're the bad guys if they
I
are
like that.
wondering who's bombarding them with questions. Um, we also encourage clients to leave a tip for you if you've connected your tipping information and they leave you a 4 or 5 star review, we give them a prompt to leave you a tip. So that's just another little way to get you a little extra money. We feel that our fees are fair. We're also very clear about those. There's no question when you're sending a quote. Your client sees the fees up front. There's nothing hidden. So we charge a 5% booking fee for our free members because you can join Gig Salad for free. And then there's a 2.5 percentage fee for paid members. On the client side, it is a sliding scale, 8 to 10%. It's sort of a known thing now. You know, Airbnb has a fee. It's not as jarring as it used to be. A marketplace fee is nothing new to people. So as much as you might think people shy away from booking on Gig Salad because of the fee, that just isn't the case. They're usually just fine with it. And then lastly, we've worked on our SEO from day one. So rather than you building your own website and trying to gain traffic, our SEO ranking is already working for you when you have a Gig Salad profile. So saves you time and money and all that extra work that goes into it. I'm sure most people know what SEO is, but I wanted to just give a quick rundown. SEO stands for search engine optimization. That helps search engines understand what the person is searching for and gives them the most relevant results. Again, we've worked on ours since day one. We're always staying on top of it. That's so important to us. So we're always trying to make sure we're ranking highly on all of the different search engines. And now AI is in the mix, and we're trying to figure that out like everyone else is too. But it's definitely something we're aware of and working on. So what that means for bands on Gig Salad, when someone is searching something like cover band in Chicago, they'll find Gig Salad in the top results. And in turn, your profile is likely to receive that lead. So I just had a few examples of I'm here in Springfield, Missouri. So I did some local, you're welcome to do this locally and see kind of what comes up for you. We aren't always number one, but we're generally in the top five. So whenever someone's searching things like hire a cover band in Los Angeles or a cover band near me or hire cover band, we've got all the search terms kind of covered there across the board. And so what they'll do is land on Gig Salad, fill out a quote request form, and we submit those leads to the relevant bands in that area. And we'll talk a little bit more about how leads work. But this is how our SEO work helps benefit all of the members that are on Gig Salad. I pulled some statistics because we have a lot of band categories on Gig Salad. Of course, we're talking about cover bands mostly for you all, but there's all kinds of different bands that you might want to think about adding to your profile. So cover band is very popular. These are for the last 5 years. We just pulled some stats here. Party band is very popular. Acoustic band, wedding band. Wedding bands aren't booked as often, and I think it's because they tend to be like the big 12-person groups. So those stats might be a little bit skewed. But for most of the time, you can always put yourself in wedding band and maybe get booked for some of those. But singing guitarist is by far the most popular out of all of these five categories. So if you do have the capability to send a soloist or a duo or something to an event, people really love singing guitarists on Gig Salad. So definitely put that as the category if you have that capability with your band. And you can always maybe talk them into a full band if you get the lead for the singing guitarist. So that option is always there too.
Sure.
Here's a quick rundown of pricing. That's always kind of a question. Like I said, you can join for free. The features are a little bit limited, but it's great if you just want to try it out and put yourself in a couple categories and see what you get. If you're in a higher populated market like LA, New York, Chicago, you're probably going to struggle a little bit because there's so much competition. So the free profiles are going to be bumped pretty far down the page there. But you can always try it and kind of see if you like the interface and upgrade later if you wanted to. The next level is the pro, and then featured, of course, is the top tier with all of the top visibility, most categories that you can add. Both of our paid memberships, you do get access to client phone numbers. So if it's important to you to hop on the phone right after you get a lead, that might be worth upgrading alone. Free members do not get access to the client phone number until until the client signed the booking. So paid membership, it just kind of depends on what you're looking to do with your band and your business. So kind of looking over those to see what's best. We have 3, 6, or 12 months that, the more that you purchase, there's built-in discounts there. So something to keep in mind, but you can always try it for 3 months and see how it works for you. Okay, so I wanted to discuss a few of the ways that I see our members succeeding on GigSalad and maybe some things to avoid whenever you're building out your profile. So we'll kind of focus on media, content, how to fine tune those lead preferences, and then a few useful tools that GigSalad offers to help make the gigging life a bit easier for you. So, of course, it seems like a no-brainer. Of course, everybody knows that you're supposed to put great photos on, but a lot of times I see bands or new members join and all they have to upload is one photo to get the profile going, and then they just never come back and fill it out. So, you get back what you put into your profile. So, don't just do your profile photo and then be done with it. Upload a few shots of yourself in the band, or everybody's got an iPhone, so there's really no excuse. Just upload some nice photos. We usually say at least 3. We're also kind of testing a new grid pattern of how the photos show. So yeah, the more photos you have, the prettier your profile will look as someone's scrolling through and looking at them. 3 to 10 photos is kind of what we're looking at. As much as you might be attached to an old photo of you, it's really better to keep your photos updated. You don't want to mislead clients, show up looking way different than you did 20 years ago. So
Right.
try to try to use high quality, updated. Avoid all those heavy filters that can be applied. Include a nice variety. And remember, most people are using GigSalad on their phone. So, the closer crop you can get, at least for your profile photo, is helpful. People can see a little bit clearer than if you've got the full body, like way back shot. That's great to add to your gallery. But for profile photos, maybe try and keep it shoulders up. That way it's very clear on a little screen as to what the person is looking at there. I did pull a few GigSalad profiles here, and if any of these people are listening right now, you did a great job. So here are just some examples of a group photo. We've got a couple of duos here. Got a single singing guitarist guy. So just bright backgrounds, fun poses, close up shots. These are just some great photos that I think are great to emulate on GigSalad. And of course, not everyone can afford a photographer, but if you are taking your own photos, fun or neutral background, just not anything messy. We don't want the bathroom selfies on Gig Salad.
Okay.
um, use plenty of light. Golden hour, everybody knows about the golden hour. That's never a bad time to go take a photo. Grab a neighbor, a friend, families. Like I said, everybody's got the iPhone, so no excuse. It's super easy to take some nice photos for your profile.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm glad that you're giving those photo tips. And you said everybody knows about the golden hour, but I don't know that everybody does. But what she's
Okay.
referring to is the close to sunset, when the sun is low in the sky. It's the best lighting that you can get for images because of the way the shadows fall, the way the light falls. It makes you look much more flattering than, say, like noon when the sun is straight up in the sky. So that's what she's referring to.
Yes. And even I've heard overcast days are also great times to take photos.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's for humans or for objects, though. Might have to research that one. But and then of course, as a band, it's extremely important to have videos on your profile, even just one. Um, you know, it, if you don't have any videos, set up and do a little acoustic set. Make one of your friends record you at your next gig. We just, as clients, we want something to see what this band is actually like, to listen to see how they move, to kind of just get a little taste of what it's like to interact with this band. So absolutely put a video on your profile. It's funny, Steve and I had some audio issues trying to get this started. So audio is very important on band videos too. So if you can use a different microphone, making sure audio is clear versus relying on the little iPhone. iPhone is great for the video portion, but for the audio, you maybe want to invest in like a little lapel mic or something like that. They're very inexpensive. Um, Again, with the nice neutral background. One song per video is probably ideal unless you want to do like a little medley or something. But the big, long 10-minute videos can be a little bit overwhelming to people. So just remember, attention spans are very short in today's society. So quick little engaging bites is always a good way to go. 1 to 3 videos is kind of what we say. We do have some members that pile on the videos, which is okay, but nobody's going to watch all of them. So pick your best 3 and then let that kind of speak for itself on your profile. And we do use YouTube or Vimeo video links. So you'll need to make sure those are uploaded on one of those platforms. And then you just paste the link and it's embedded there on your profile. And then, of course, audio, it's not necessary. It's kind of a nice to have. If you don't have any audio recordings, that's okay. I would say video and photos are much more important. But if you have audio clips, that's great. Feel free to upload those. Cover songs, of course, this is a cover band audience, so you guys know how much people love cover songs. But yeah, popular songs maybe that people, oh, I love that song. I wonder what they sound like singing this. That's always a great choice. If you have some great originals, definitely put those there too. And then you'll get the little 100% complete notice on your profile on your dashboard, which is always kind of a nice uh, intrinsic motivator, I
Yeah.
guess. Again, not necessary, but nice to have if you do have those. Okay, and so GigSalad does give you a place to include a little bio, a little overview about what you do, and then maybe what to expect whenever you're at their event. So this is a nice place to talk about your years of experience, maybe who you kind of sound like or who influences you, what your clients can expect, length of your set, and there is a separate place you can actually upload your whole set list if you want to do something like that. And then maybe what sets you apart. So it's just kind of like your little elevator sales pitch. We don't want to go way long with it, but a little pitch is always good. And we were talking about AI earlier. I don't like to rely on AI for everything, but if you're not a fabulous writer, you can kind of give it a little something and let it spruce it up for you. So I I think AI can be good at sometimes, especially if we're not all great writers. So this is just a little example. The first one is a lot of what I see because people are generally writing these on the fly as they're signing up on their profile, and that's okay. But just go back later and kind of go through everything and make it more professional, more enticing, and all of that. So don't just leave it as it did whenever you were joining. So this is kind of the basic thing that we see quite a bit of. This is actually kind of a better version than what I see. Sometimes I even see we're a band or we play music. So so
That's
anything you
funny.
can add that sets you apart is nice. So here's just a little, and I won't read this to you. You guys can pause and read it if you'd like to later. Um, yeah, make it exciting. It's your time to sell yourself. Oops, I clicked a little bit too fast, but so one of the tools on GigSalad is lead preferences. So these are something you want to pay attention to after you've created your profile. Um, Travel and setting your location is one of the biggest ways that you are going to optimize your profile to get leads. So let's say you live in a little rural town and that's where you set your location. Well, if people aren't searching in that little rural town, you may not get anything. So you don't have to set your location where you live. We always say set it where you want your gigs to come from. So let's say, Boston's the nearest big market to you and you don't mind driving 30 minutes or whatever. Put it in Boston. That way you're in that bigger market and you're getting leads from that area. You can also set your preference radius, if you will, by radius if you want, which is just a literal circle, which isn't great for people on the coast, people in mountainous areas, because it literally doesn't take anything into account. It's just a circle. So we always kind of encourage people to do time or distance. So time is how many hours away you're willing to go for a gig. distance is how many miles away, obviously. And then those two follow major highways. They're not, they're driving around mountains and stuff. So you're getting a true radius there versus as the crow flies. Okay, another cool tool on GigSalad is being able to sync your calendar. So if you already use an iCal or a Google Calendar to track all of your gigs and bookings, you can simply sync that and it'll pull it all into your calendar. That'll help whenever you get a lead for a conflicting date. It'll keep you from double booking yourself, which happens quite a bit on GigSalad, I would say. So this kind of cuts down on that. You can also, if you have, a job 9 to 5, you can cut out that availability as a recurring event. You can choose whether you want to block leads or not based on your calendar. You might have a general unavailability, but maybe you can make an exception or you use PTO or something on a day and take a gig. So there's some fine tuning here you can do in your calendar. There's lots of little things you can do to optimize those leads coming in. Another thing with bands for sure, whenever you choose your main category, which you may want to do singing guitars, that's the most popular, or you could do cover band or do whatever you want. The lead preferences are going to be your primary category is what we take into account first. And then you're going to be able to add additional categories. If you're a pro, you get 15 more, featured, you get 20 more, a free, you only get one more. So that's another little limitation on the free membership. But we always give you some suggested categories based on your primary. So if you kind of don't know what else to add, just take a peek there at the suggested categories on the add categories page, and you can easily click add and pop them over into your profile. But this is an easy way if you're, just need some suggestions as to what to add to your profile. That's always helpful. You can also choose what event types you do or do not want to do. For example, if you don't want to do kids' birthday parties, you can remove that one. If you don't want to do funerals, you can remove that. For another example, worship service. There's a bunch of different ones that may not apply to you or that you just don't have any interest in performing at. So you can feel free to take off those event types. That way you're not declining leads for things that you didn't want to do in the first place. You can also note your performance length and how far ahead of time you would like to get a lead. With those two, I would say don't put too tight of parameters on those. Sometimes people, when they're sending leads, they aren't thinking through, maybe they're late people. They haven't they haven't booked events before. So they might say something like, oh, I just want an hour, or I just want 30 minutes, or I want 5 hours, or, their timing is all kind of over the place because they just don't know really what they're doing. And you can kind of step in and help guide them. But if you've got your parameters too tight, sometimes you'll miss out on those leads. So just be careful when you're setting those things. Advanced lead notice, if you're okay with last minute leads, I just wouldn't mess with that. But if you really need a lot of notice, you can kind of tweak it. I need a week, or I need a month, or I need 2 days. There's some ways to tweak that there. Again, these are all just to help you avoid getting a bunch of leads that you just have to decline. So you can just twist the knobs until you find the everything is set the way that you want it to be and get the leads that are actually applicable to you. Okay, a couple of Gig Salad tools. We'll talk about lead notifications, our saved messages and saved quotes tools, which are super handy. As far as lead notifications, nobody wants to miss a lead. That's super important. So you'll of course get an email. Be sure to add Gig Salad to your contacts. We see a lot of times stuff goes to spam or to junk, and it's just easy to fix by adding us to your contact list. If you are a featured member, you can add a second email address. If you have an assistant or someone that's helping, they can get that lead notification too. You can also set up text notifications so you get a text immediately when a new lead comes in. And again, we were talking about the advanced lead notice. If you don't want those last minute notifications, you can take those out. Okay, so this is a tool, the saved messages and saved quotes, that can really help you respond to clients quickly. I ran a little stat here. that bands who respond in the first hour are 1.5 times more likely to book than those who wait a few hours. So as much as you can possibly respond immediately, you're more likely to get the gig, especially if you're responding in a really friendly, upbeat, energetic way and making the person feel excited to be talking to you and excited to have you at their event. So, if you have a 9 to 5 job or whatever, you can easily respond to leads with one click, is what we like to say, with saved messages. So if you'll go into your tools section and you can create all kinds of saved messages, from wedding requests, birthday party, general requests, just sit there, kind of come up with a few templates, and you can personalize them with these little short codes where it'll pop in the client's information from the lead, so you can quickly personalize it without having to type it in every time. So be sure to take a look at those short codes and pop them in there. You can also attach photos if you've got contracts or set lists or anything like that you want to upload. You can add PDFs there. If you got audio links, you can add MP3s. You can also post a YouTube link in the message body itself, and it'll transform it to a little thumbnail video. So that's kind of handy too. So this is something I would highly recommend if you do join Gig Salad. Go to the tools, take some time and write out a few of these saved messages, even if it's just a greeting. It's just makes responding to leads so much faster and easier. And then the same thing with the saved quotes. You probably don't want to send a quote until you've talked to your client and verified everything, because once you send the quote, they can book you. So don't send a quote immediately. You can send a message with general pricing if that's kind of what they're after. But until you're ready to book, don't send the quote, because it's basically like you're sending over your contract. So you can go ahead and create some saved quotes. Again, personalize them, add in the event details, and you can always edit these before you hit send if you need to. But you don't want to send it until you're ready. And you don't want to use a quote as a messaging tool. So the quote should be treated as a contract versus, hi, I'd love to be in your wedding. My fee is $1,000. We want it to be, this is for 2 hours of a reception at your wedding. We will take two 15-minute breaks, kind of outline what you would in a contract whenever you're sending the quote. Okay, and so I pulled a few frequently asked questions. The answers are a little lengthy, but in general, we'll talk about how you get gig leads. So as we were talking about earlier with SEO, people will Google something, they land on Gig Salad, they either can look through all the results and choose the band or bands that they would like quotes from, or more often they fill out a little quote form at the top and they ask for 5 or 10 vendors, and then we'll send it to those 5 or 10 that are most applicable and based on primary category, location, membership level. That's why I was saying if you're in a more populous area, paid membership is probably going to be the way to go to get those leads. Um, Whenever a client books you, they'll accept your quote and they do pay in full up front. Whatever deposit you have set, we will send you that deposit right away. And then the balance will come after the event is over. That gives a little window of opportunity in case you didn't show, or there was a problem and you had to leave early, or you canceled and didn't let us know. Then the event planner can let us know and we can begin working on the refund for them. So we do give a little buffer after the event takes place, and then we go ahead and send the balance if there were no reports of issues. One question I get a lot is, why do I pay a service fee and a membership fee? Um, Membership fee is kind of, you're paying for the features and the exposure. Service fee is basically covering the credit card fee. That's pretty much all we're asking there of our paid members with the 2.5%. And a lot of people do like their own contracts. That's totally fine. We do require that you either book on the platform or that you mark the lead as booked, which means you book with a client directly, but then you pay the service fee on that lead, which it does count it as a verified booking. And if they leave a review, it does count as a verified review. So there's benefits to that. So you can use your own contract, but keeping it on the site is just a smoother experience from beginning to end for the client. Everything is protected. It does, of course, give you the top performer badge if you're meeting the other requirements. And the more you book on GigSalad, the more preferential treatment you get as far as leads and that kind of thing. So those are kind of the main frequently asked questions, but that kind of concludes all of my information, and I'm happy to answer questions if anybody has any.
That's great, Megan. I love this. I hope you guys are paying attention out there, because this is, if you want to get real work, you want to get real gigs, you need something like this. And Gig Salad, it's the way, I mean, Megan just went through this kind of quickly, but it's really all set up very simply, and walks you through exactly what you need to do. Like you said, there's the percentage meter that shows you how much your profile is complete. I signed up for myself, just to see how it works, and it really walks you through very simply what you need to do. Fantastic tips in there, Megan, with photos, how to take the good photos, videos. I talk to the community a lot about this, about videos. It should sound good. You should look good. The lighting should be good. Don't make it too long. Don't put too many videos in there. You want to really showcase yourself at your best, and show exactly what you're going to get, what people are going to get when they hire you. We didn't really get any questions, but we got some hearts from Sherry. And one question I do have is, because we got Deborah from Australia is watching in the wee hours of the morning. Is this Cover Band Central is international? I think you said Gig Salad is U.S. and Canada. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
For now, maybe someday the world.
Okay. But if you're in the U.S. and Canada, and that's the bulk of our audience anyway, there's no reason to not sign up for at least the free program here with Gig Salad. It's super easy. You just go to there, and I know you were going to show a link, but I did pull it up here, so I can show it here. If you want to sign up after watching this, go to gigsalad.com/coverbandcentral. And what do they get from that, Megan?
Well, you can join for free. It's basically, let me see if there's anything. That one. I believe there's a coupon. Let me just double check.
Okay. But those of you who are still watching, let us know in the comments, how do you book your gigs? What do you do now if you're not using something like Gig Salad? And how much work is that for you? And how much money is it costing you? How much time is it costing you? Because the prices that you have in here are very, very reasonable. For 3 months, it was 100 and some odd dollars. You're gonna cover that, more than that, with one gig, with one booking. You're going to be able to pay for 3 months of that. So if you're really serious, if you really want to get gigs, you could be playing every weekend or even during the week, just by having a really good solid profile here on Gig Salad, having the paid program. So you're up in the rankings. Like she said, if you're in a major metropolitan area where it's busy, there's a lot of bands, there's a lot of work, you're going to get buried if you don't have a good, on the paid program and the SEO that she talked about. Because people that have money, that are looking to hire a professional band for their event, especially weddings, they pay a lot of money. And weddings for people, it's a very serious thing. It's a major lifetime event for people when they're getting married, and they want to make sure that the food is perfect, that the band is great. I've played in wedding bands, and I know a lot of people that are in wedding bands, and they do very, very well. So, and corporate events and things like that. So people like that, when they're looking for work or looking for bands, looking for entertainment, they're not going to go to Facebook. They're not going to go to Twitter. They're not going to go to LinkedIn. They're going to go to Google, and they're going to search wedding bands, like you said, Chicago. That's a good example. Wedding bands, Chicago, and Gig Salad is going to come up right at the top. So people are going to see that and say, okay, let's check this out. They're going to click on that, and it looks super professional. It's super slick, and it's super easy. So you're on Gig Salad and you're in that area, they're going to find you. You got great pictures. You got great videos. You look pro. You look fun. You're going to get hired. That's it. But you need to be there. You need to be on the platform. You can't just have a Facebook page and expect to get wedding gigs or corporate gigs or parties or all the other type of work that you can get where you can make real money, where you're not just making $100 a night. This is the way to go. I'm sorry, I went on a rant there.
No, that was a great rant.
um, Tori here said pricing is great for the visibility you get, and Tori knows. He said sites like GigSalad typically draw in the premium gigs. Premium gigs, that's what you want, guys. And Linda suggested that her friend Tim should look into this. So we had a lot of people watching this. I think people were just captivated by your presentation.
All right. Great.
So you were talking about a coupon code or something?
Yeah, we generally send a coupon code after you get your first lead, so definitely join for free, and then keep an eye out in that inbox for your coupon code after you get that first lead. But that the website there is kind of a nice way for us to see, who landed on Gig Salad, of this audience, and we'd love to keep in touch. So, yeah, definitely head over there. You just click list your services and it takes just probably, I don't know, Steve, would it take you 10 minutes maybe to get through it all?
Yeah, super
Yeah.
easy. 10 minutes, and it
And then,
walks you right through. It tells you what to do. So you can be a dummy like me and still, you know, get everything accomplished. Yeah, this is my first. I've known about Gig Salad for a long time, but I'm really psyched that we have a relationship now. And this is not going to be the last time that you're hearing about Gig Salad from me and from Cover Band Central, because I'm out here to serve you guys, to serve the musicians, to serve the bands, to make sure that you can have the best opportunities out there that are out there. So this is the way to go. I mean, so many bands struggle with booking gigs. I see it every day. How do you get gigs? And they try to hire agents who are, not necessarily honest, and take a lot more money than Gig Salad asks. So you don't need that, guys. This is what you need. Sign up for Gig Salad. Go gigsalad.com/coverband central so that they know that you came from us. Um, I'm not getting any commission or anything from this. So it's just to know that they want to know where it came from, and it's as simple as that. Um, Deborah said thanks for the presentation. She stuck it out through the whole thing. So, um, what else, Megan? What else have we got? Is that it?
I think that's it. I will say if you are struggling or you need help after you get signed up, we have a great customer happiness team. We're available by phone, which is unbelievable in today's world. We have
Yeah,
chat or email. So whichever avenue you prefer. Um, our contact info is on Gig Salad. So if you do need help, we're always super happy to help get you set up.
I love that. And a lot of great information in your presentation here. Like she said, you can pause it in any place and stop and take some notes, or just read through everything and digest what she's saying and how it's going to apply to you. But it's very simple. But this is we're live right now, but this is going to be available for replay on Facebook and on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch it again and again, and make sure you're really understanding everything that's here, everything that's available to you. We're trying to make this easy for you guys. We want everybody out there to get gigs, get the high paying gigs, get work, and this is the way to do it. You don't want to be playing the corner pub the rest of your life, unless that's your thing. But most people don't. Most people spend a lot of money on gear, on traveling, on lessons, everything else, clothes. So you want to get paid for all that. And I love that you talked about the geographical areas where you can set it up on Gig Salad. Where do you want to work? How far do you want to travel? Because I've played in bands where I traveled halfway across the country to play one gig, and some bands will do that, and you'll get compensated for it. You'll get a lot of money for gigs like that. So you can set it up however you like, whatever works for you and your band. But this is the way to go. gigsalad.com/coverbandcentral. Check it out. Megan, what a delight. Thank you so much for you coming in here today and hooking up the Cover Band Central community. It's really been a pleasure. I really appreciate you taking your time out to do this.
Yeah, of course, it was great, and maybe I'll be back someday, but We're here for anything y'all need. Thank you.
I sure hope you'll be back. Thanks, Megan. And thank you guys for watching. You got any questions? Let me know. You can always contact me and just go to Gig Salad and sign up. Sign up for the free program. It's a no-brainer. Everybody should do it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon.